and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am your host, Audrey Williams. It is still summertime, so put your summer hat back on and come stroll with me. You'll find that Fuwilika Island has plenty to offer. Today, you'll discover more about one of our parishes and how to make the most out of every opportunity while protecting your internet privacy. Let's start by looking at what our youth are doing this summer. Stay put. We'll be back after this.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry and this is your JIS News for Friday, August 12, 2022. Over 2,500 residential, commercial and civil infrastructure in and around Black River and St. Elizabeth now have consistent access to potable water. That's thanks to the recent commissioning of the $129 million Sandy Bank to Black River Replacement Pipeline project. Installation of the pipeline, which runs from Sandy Ground to the Black River High School, is an initiative of the National Water Commission, NWC. It involved the replacement of an 8-inch asbestos cement transmission main, putting an end to chronic leakage from the old system. The project is part of government's ongoing $7 billion program to improve the island's water infrastructure. Prime Minister Andrew Holness asserts that while government improves efficiency in water supply, Jamaicans need to stop practices such as theft, which have reduced the NWC's ability to supply the commodity.
We will not have enough revenues to actually improve the system and actually bring the water to you unless we are able to reduce the level of non-revenue water, which can be sometimes up to 50% of the revenue of NWC, meaning that the NWC in some areas would lose 50% of its revenues, what you pay in water rates, to either leaks or theft. How could any business run like that?
The Pedro Keys will be declared a protected area in this, the island's 60th year of independence. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement at a recent unveiling of signage designating the 207.7 square kilometer Black River Morass in St. Elizabeth a protected area. Mr. Holness says he intends to make a submission to Cabinet in the coming weeks to have the Pedro Keys Declaration actioned. He says that with this designation, 30% of the island's ecologically sensitive spaces will be covered by legislation.
This is an important milestone in Jamaica's 60th in terms of our commitment to environmental protection and development. So here it is, protected for the legacy for generations to come.
Pedro Keys will join the Cockpit Country, which was declared a protected area in 2017, and the Black River Morass, which was designated in 2021. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, has committed to partnering with Jamaica's Stroke Alliance to establish dedicated stroke units in some of the island's major hospitals. These units will focus on stroke prevention and minimizing long-term effects of strokes.
My commitment is to do at least 3 units at the major hospitals, University, KPH and Cornwall Regional in the next year or so, working with the Jamaica Stroke Alliance.
Dr. Tufton points out that in 2021, over 7,300 Jamaicans had a stroke, with over 2,400 deaths, making stroke the leading cause of death in the country.
A lot of it is lifestyle or consumption habits, diet, exercise. Some of it is hereditary. But what is very, very clear is that it requires urgent attention.
Minister Tufton made the announcement in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where he is representing Jamaica at the 3rd Latin American Ministerial Meeting on Stroke as part of the Global Stroke Alliance 2022 meeting. Meanwhile, the health minister is pointing to the possible need for a shift in Jamaica's birth rate to support the country's sustainable development goals. Dr. Tufton, who was speaking at the Mandeville Regional Hospital, reveals that last year the country had just over 30,000 births, with a neonatal mortality of 15%, higher than the benchmark rate of 10 to 12%. Coupled with an average birth per mother rate of less than 2, he says the data is showing a trend towards a potential decline in the population.
It means that we have a population that is currently almost net neutral and on the verge of declining. When you take net migration and the birth rate, it means that Jamaica has a population of approximately 3 million. Over time, at this rate of births and live births and healthy births, we'll see a decline potentially of its population.
According to the health minister, this will have significant socioeconomic implications for the labor force and competitiveness and can undermine the country's capacity to realize its full potential. He says the data will have to be examined closely and measures put in place to address the issues such as improved pre- and postnatal care for mothers and their babies. And finally, Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, Homer Davis, is hailing the partnership between the residents of Roehampton St. James and the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JASIF, to implement measures for protecting children as they traverse to and from school. Minister Davis was speaking at the recent groundbreaking ceremony for the Safe Passage project at Roehampton Primary School.
It's really a very special day for us all here today because this Safe Passage project at the Roehampton Primary School, it forms part of the measures to give parents and students a peace of mind, knowing very well that there is a safe space in the precincts of their institution.
The Safe Passage project is part of JASIF's Integrated Community Development Project Phase 2 and aids in the rehabilitation of roads and other infrastructure in the vicinity of schools. The initiative will include the construction of a bus stop, sidewalks, guardrails, school fencing, traffic signals, and pedestrian crossing, as well as the painting of decorative murals. It is being funded by the government at a cost of $20 million and is expected to be completed in October of this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us continue to invest in the development of our children. I suspect this is the beginning of greater things to come.
Minister Davis also officially opened the Roehampton Green Space and Park. It was also developed by JASIF under its Integrated Community Development Project with joint funding from the government. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
The Institute of Jamaica has taken on the concept of unlocking potential and transforming lives as it supports young people's development using the performing and visual arts. In our upcoming feature, we'll go into more details about how our youngsters are developing their potential this summer.
In different cultures, the drum is a sacred tool, connecting heaven to earth while maintaining the rhythm of the world. Drumming builds a vibe, but also calms the spirit. To be a pro is no easy feat, and the art of putting hand to skin or plastic to belt a tune that is pleasing to the ear takes time. It's this and much more that youth were taught at the Greater Portmore Junior Centre in the Summer Art Workshop, guided by the theme Unlocking the Potential and Transforming Lives through the Institute of Jamaica.
As director of the Programs Coordination Division, which I like to call the children's arm of the IOJ, the division is comprised of 3 spaces. 2 junior centers, that is one at East Street, and the one where we are today, the Greater Portmore Junior Center, and the Simon Bolivar Cultural Center located at North Parade. And our focus is the visual and performing arts. We know the arts are therapeutic. From the arts help with cognitive, It helps with intellectual growth. It is proven, it is not just anecdotal, but the research shows it. So once the children are involved in that kind of activity, it is almost guaranteed that the academic performance will improve.
The COVID-19 pandemic limited face-to-face interaction.
But for 2022, we are back again in the centers. And we are open, having our youngsters coming, having fun.
The workshop was made possible through funding from the American Friends of Jamaica.
I want to say thanks for the support that we have gotten. The American Friends of Jamaica came on board and gave us a grant. So with this grant, we are able to subsidize. So all students, free of cost, they don't have to pay transportation. We are able to subsidize the lunches. The entrance to the venue, we are able to take care of all of that. For some of our students, we are able to provide the lunches. There is a small fee of $4,000 per week, but for a number of our students, where the difficulty is, we have been able to take them on free because we have gotten that grant.
The Junior Center serves the Greater Portmore community and provides resources that would otherwise be difficult for teens to access. In order to get your child involved, sign their names on the dotted line. Registration is usually the entire month of June, and the workshop begins around the first week of July.
During the workshop, each day we have like 3 sessions. So like in the morning when we come in, we invite God in our presence, and then we have like a presentation. It's like an interactive and fun presentation. And we have persons from our sister agency as well, from the Institute of Jamaica, as well as we invite other persons from external to the IOJ to come in and present on anything of interest.
Expect a field trip. And at the end of the program, participants show off what they learn for all to see.
So they'll be the one entertaining us, and then we'll have showcasing also the craft items and some of the stuff that they have done in the paper making class and the art and craft class.
When asked why it's important for children to be a part of a summer program,
all year round they are doing academic, and I think this one time of the year, instead of doing the maths, the English and the whatever, give them something else outside of that to unwind the mind and take away the deep focus from the academic area.
The Junior Center is a safe space. It is a safe space for your children. It is where they are learning, it is where they are exposed, it is where they have an opportunity to learn new things, to make new friends.
If you missed the opportunity to join this year's Junior Center Summer Experience, jot down the dates mentioned in your calendar and get ready for next year. Come on, parents, give your children one more thing for which to say thank you.
Kingston and St. Andrew were independently managed parishes until 1923, when they were combined for administrative purposes. This vibrant city is renowned for its nightlife and for being the origin of reggae music. However, there is much more to learn about this parish's distinctiveness. Let's take a look.
I am on the southeastern end of the island, washed by the Caribbean Sea, bounded by St. Andrew to the east, west, and the north. I may be little, but guess what? Me talawa. So this isn't really about the history of Kingston, but if it was, I'd tell you that it's been crafted from beneath our shores and extends across the harbor further inland, where the musical beats of ska, reggae, and mento were formed.
the music industry has been quite well documented, and to my recollection, it started more of an effort to play music that other people couldn't play than as an industry. It kind of unearthed that spirit, that creative spirit in Jamaicans, and we broke all of the recording rules, but we came up with a product that kind of represented the kind of Jamaican spirit, and that indomitable spirit, and it gave a sort of voice or expression to our Africanness. From the 70s, 80s, 90s, Jamaica celebrated a number of great icons. You know, we're talking about the Ernest Smiths, the Pluto Shervintons, the Dennis Browns, you know, the Gregory Isaacs, the Alton Ellis, and then we get into the megastar region, the Jimmy Cliffs and the Peter Tosh, and then the Bob Marleys. Reggae is the soundtrack of our lives, you know. Reggae is of us, about us, with us, and it has remained true to us as a Jamaican expression.
Oh my God. Wait. I remember the link. So after that tubs of knowledge about Kingston's musical history, you must be hungry. So come, we'll go down a town. It is commonly believed that Coronation Market is located on an old African burial ground and was called Duppy Market before being given its royal name.
Coronation Market, we have melon over here, we have other things variety. So you can come down and get fruits, vegetables, scallion, onion over there, you name it. Reasonable at a reasonable cost.
Thank you. Bad piece of soup here. If you thought it was only food being offered here in downtown Kingston, then guess again. Do you remember when I told you earlier that Kingston was bordered by St. Andrew? Well, it's time to cross that border and explore the other side. Jamaica is famous for its Blue Mountain grade of coffee, and right now we're at one of the first coffee estates that was founded in the late 1700s. Welcome to Clydesdale.
It's always been an interesting place because the place is full of history, but it's also very interesting from the point of the environment and nature. There's a swimming hole near here where I've been going to swim, and whenever people visit, we always make a trip to Clydesdale. This is the mill house, and there's a vertical water wheel at the other end of the building, outside of the building, that the stream turned, and we can see the remains of the horizontal water wheel that was connected to the water wheel that had the millstones, I think, to grind the coffee. The other interesting feature is that the roof is constructed. You can see the load of the roof comes down to the center as well as out to the walls, and the verticals came down and carried the load through the beams and down through the columns to the ground. This seems to be the residence, and I say that because there's an obvious kitchen area, which is an outside cooking area that's set up with stove and so on. There's a herb garden outside. Inside here you see the remains of toilets and basins. You need to step carefully and watch out for rusty nails. There's a fireplace, which is an upstairs and downstairs fireplace.
Clydesdale is a nice place. The environment, the climate, the river them, you know, it's nice, and You come by Clydesdale and you can just sit in you can observe in a fresher breath. For them say by the tree, you live more healthier.
We've been having so much fun today and our time together is almost over. But before it does, I have a surprise just for you. I bet you thought that was a surprise, but nope, we're not there yet, so let's keep going. Nestled in the hills of St. Andrew in the Bowden district, opposite the Hermitage Dam, it's the scenic Falling Edge Waterfalls. Let's go. Do I go to the right or do I go to the left? Guys, take the left. I hope you had a great time on the scenic tour of Kingston and St. Andrew. Don't just sit and watch it on your TV. Go on out and explore. These and other parishes await.
Go, slow down, stop. The National Works Agency is the organization responsible for the instructions you get at each and every traffic stop. Their work is important to get you safely round about Kingston and St. Andrew and up by the Junior Center. But our next feature takes you inside the control room to see how the experts are directing safe traffic movements on the roads.
Traffic signal, as we refer to it as, it's a system of electronic controls that we use to assist in managing traffic at particular locations along our corridors. In managing the flow, there's a system. We have mast arms. We have the signal heads. Signal heads are what you see, the lights, whether green, amber, or red. We have wires that are connected to a control box. The control box has a number of components that assist us in managing the flows through the intersection or junction. Now, before we actually signalize an intersection or a junction, we do traffic counts. So we know where it is the bulk of the vehicles are coming from or they're heading to. You want to have that information so that in setting the timings, in rehearsing the timings for persons to go through, you know what amount of green time you're going to be giving to a particular phase of the intersection as opposed to another. Our traffic signals, the systems are on a fiber optic network that is actually right across the country. So we have a combination of fiber and microwave links that we're using to roll out what we call a public safety network. And the systems that we have been incorporating our camera systems with these, and so we're able to monitor traffic through our traffic management center that we have at the corporate office 140 Maxfield Avenue, and it gives us the ability to change the timings that we have at these locations remotely. In other words, we don't have to have our officers physically going to the location, changing the timings.
In the Traffic Management Center, we have something called QuickNet. So in present day right now, this is what we use to remotely manage all traffic lights. What you're seeing on the screen now is a virtual display of what is in the cabinet at the intersection via our traffic camera. At the first display, you can see this is our Model 170 controller. This is what we use as a standard in Kingston. So right now you can see all the visual displays. This is what exactly you see in a traffic cabinet. Beside it, you see a graphical representation of what is happening at the stoplight. So at the cameras, you can see two through movements and a turning movement, moving from green to amber to red. And now you can see the turning movement start. So you can see two turning movements and a left turning movement happening right now, as well as a forward turning movement at the next part of the intersection. So the graphic can show you the plan, the status, the cycle length, offset values, traffic statistics. So using this, you can see if the stoplight is working efficiently or not. So this will tell us if the stoplight is down, off, in any problem, whatever. So before people have to call and report a stoplight is down, with this system, when everything is integrated, you won't have to. You automatically know. What you're seeing now on the screen is a viewing of Halfway Tree area, the Kingston metropolitan area, where we can now monitor traffic remotely. So before, to put up a traffic light, somebody would have to go months prior and record the traffic data to put up a signal. Now we can have somebody here remotely counting traffic, as well as several different other specialized cameras to count the traffic for us. So specifically, we can look at specific intersections, say for this one example. If we see the traffic is building up, we can allot more time to a specific intersection to allow the through traffic to flow.
We have well over 100 locations across the country where we have signals, and the number continues to grow because every year we look at new locations to signalize. The demand is quite high, and the demand grows with the numbers of vehicles that we are seeing on our roads.
The Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show returned with a bang in Jamaica's Year of Jubilee. JIS went to the showgrounds just to hear your take on agriculture's finest. Denby, we say.
Many people, that they were bored at home, now that Denby is open up. They are here to enjoy themselves, and I would invite others to come along, even next year.
Thanks for Denby, because people are out and they're enjoying themselves and they're shopping for plants, which are really healthy for us.
It's good. The experience is wonderful. We are happy to be here because it gives us a chance for persons to know about our product.
Denby this year is a bomb. Denby this year is big. Denby this year is what we have lost for 2 years, and it bounced back 100%.
Denby, the first time, it's an enjoyment. And it has been good. I've walked about, I've seen the different booths, I've supported others in their business venture.
Wow, this is amazing. You see lots of people, the flowers, the fruits, the animals. It's so amazing to me.
We've come to the end of our program. Get a recap of all you saw here and more on our website at www.gis.gov.jm. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Audrey Williams. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.